Hey YouTube, Joyboy here. So, today I want to talk about the top 10 moments or scenes from Whole Cake Island. And to be honest with you guys, my parameters for what defines what these moments or scenes can be is kind of open to interpretation. And basically, I'm making it a little bit easy on myself in order to make this video by not setting too many defined rules. So some of these might literally be just one panel that really stuck out to me. It could be one panel which was created from moments that led up to it. Or sometimes it could be an extended scene of more than just one panel. This of course will be an entirely subjective video based on my experience reading Whole Cake Island, my enjoyment. These are my top 10 scenes, and you are welcome to disagree with me. Actually, looking back at Whole Cake Island and all the moments that I enjoyed, making this list was kind of hard, especially choosing which ones would be in my top 10, let alone ranking them. That being said, I'm not going to argue too hard as to why I picked certain ranks for certain scenes, because it's subjective, and essentially the reason for most of these is because I enjoyed it more. Getting into the hows and whys is not always a question I can answer, and even if I could, it'd be incredibly time-consuming. So without further ado, let us begin, and starting off with number 10, I thoroughly enjoyed the moment in which Oda revealed that Brook stole the copy of the road poneglyph. Now granted guys, I and pretty much everybody else figured that Brook had stolen it, and not only that, we also figured where he put it. That being said, the way that Oda handled it was just priceless. You have the immediate setup of everybody assuming that, well, it was a nice try to get the poneglyph, we did our best, this was our opportunity, but we can't hold this against us because we're going up against a Yonko. And then Brook chimes in, yeah, this really was our only opportunity to get it. If we hadn't gotten it now, then basically we would have had to face the entirety of Big Mom's forces in order to steal it. But it's fortunate that we got it, as he pulls it out of his skull. Cue shocked reactions. Guys, I absolutely love this moment. This was a tough place at number 10, but I just had to put it. Moving on to number 9, we have one of the final scenes in Whole Cake Island, where Pudding is crying to herself as she's looking at the stolen memory of her last kiss with Sanji. Guys, this moment makes it here for me because I had already bought into the Sanji and Pudding story many months before. For a lot of people they hadn't, so they wouldn't like this scene quite as much as I would. But Oda literally spent about 30 chapters of Pudding interacting with Sanji, but them not actually exchanging any dialogue. And I loved every single moment of it. And it fully prepared me for the crushing, emotional scene at the end of this arc. Every time Sanji did something remotely manly or remotely badass, Pudding simply just died of just sheer ovary power. And at the end, to see all of the heartbreak, man, I had to include this moment. But anyway guys, moving on to number 8, I have Jinbei leaving the Big Mom Pirates. This scene is pretty straightforward. Jinbei is truly a boss in every sense of the word. You need to leave the crew? Alright, it's time to do it. Here's my sake cup, Big Mom. What do I gotta pay? And then Big Mom tries to steal his life and it just does not work. That entire sequence of events, man. The Jinbei love is real. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say about that. Now talking about number 7, I have Big Mom's backstory. And so I'd like to lump it all together, right? The entire backstory, the world building aspects of it, just learning the past of a Yonko. And it's kind of cheating to include all of that, but I'm going to do it anyway, because why not? If you're looking for a defining moment from Big Mom's backstory that really sticks out is, of course, the very end, where everyone disappears and it's presumed that Big Mom has eaten everyone. Or you can even look at Mother Carmel being evil the entire time. That scene really stuck out to me at the time. Or even Big Mom taking a blow from a legendary giant warrior when she was 5 years old. I think this sequence of 3 chapters was one of the best of the entire arc. I personally am a fan of backstories, and this one delivered in nearly every way. I should probably also add here that even from this backstory, I felt sad. I actually got a bit emotional for Big Mom's traumatic past because I believed at the time, and I still believe today, that her story is tragic. But most probably, especially based on conversation that I have had over the course of the arc, not everyone will agree with me here. But even if you didn't find it emotionally engaging in any way, it was definitely shocking. But now moving on from this, let's talk about number 6. And for number 6, I have Luffy versus the Enraged Army. And so while this fight wasn't overly important in the context of the entire arc, I think that it was magnificently choreographed. It contained both an element of epicness while also containing an element of wonder, which kind of is the strength of One Piece. And even simultaneously while Oda was showing this, he did a magnificent job tying it in with what Pudding and Sanji were doing, obviously within Big Mom's castle. It honestly felt as though, as we were reading this, that we were watching a movie. Despite the fact that Luffy didn't win. This fight, as short as it was, as fast-paced as it was, is just simply memorable to me. When Luffy ended up getting trapped in the world of books and reality started changing and Madoro's face appeared, I love that. I tried to talk myself out of placing this on the list because it isn't really that important, but I just couldn't. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Now let's move on to number 5. And for number 5, I have Luffy's last words to Jinbei, which I've notated in my notebook here, Captain Luffy. I think it would take a long time for me to fully describe why I love this scene. But really, I only need one reason. In this one panel, in this one scene, Luffy gave me 100% the vibe that he would one day become the Pirate King. In fact, Oda even drew it that way. Remember, Jinbei, I'm your captain now. Even if you die, don't die. Oh man, I love that. Even now, even after having reread it like 10 times, still gives me chills. But yeah, number 4, and for number 4 I have Luffy versus Sanji. If you guys aren't currently watching the anime for One Piece, I know I made a video on this recently, but I highly suggest that you do, because I think that it has been really good, generally speaking. And I think the anime did a fantastic job capturing this scene. But I just think everything about it was powerful. From the shock when Sanji didn't want to go with them, to Luffy's refusal to fight him back. From how Oda depicted the damage that Luffy was taking. And at the end, when Luffy ends up getting up and yells at him with every fiber of his being, I can't become the Pirate King without you. I won't eat, I won't leave this spot until you return. I refuse to accept this is what you actually believe in. And then Sanji in his carriage quietly crying to himself. This scene is one of those scenes that creates the One Piece love, man. But yeah guys, let's move on to number 3, and for number 3 I have the moment in which Brook destroyed the portrait of Mother Carmel. Guys, if anything describes this scene, I believe that it is one of the 3 most memorable moments from Whole Cake Island. When you think Whole Cake Island 1, 2, 5, 10 years in the future, you will think this moment. There were so many ways in which Oda could have destroyed the portrait of Mother Carmel, but Brook coming in disguised as Luffy holding a little hammer and then taps on the portrait was by far the best that I have ever heard, and this includes any speculation from the thousands of people within the online One Piece community. But yeah guys, before getting into my top 2, I have several honorable mentions. I just want to include them because I think that they're great moments, but they didn't find a place on my list. And you're welcome to critique it if you see something on here that's an honorable mention that you felt like should have been here. The moment in which Pudding was revealed to be evil definitely sent tremors throughout the community and was one of the most defining moments in terms of speculation that we had. The moment in which Carrot went so long. Chapter 900. I want to just put a caveat on Chapter 900. That probably would have made this list if the end result of Chapter 900 had been something along the lines of Jinbei dying. Since we're assuming here that Jinbei is dying anyway, rather than the Sunny. Because in the next chapter it was revealed that it wasn't the Sunny that was destroyed. Which I think in retrospect made this scene a lot less powerful, especially when rereading it. I think that if you'd combined the feels and the tension of Chapter 900 with the reveal at the end of this arc of Jinbei's capture, that it would have probably made, in combination, the number 1 moment from this arc. But as it was, they were 2 separate moments. Luffy's entrance to the tea party where he came out through the cake. Sanji's backstory, specifically the very end of Sanji's backstory, when he escapes prison And he goes to get the keys to his face mask, and Judge is there, and Judge basically tells him, this is exactly what I wanted. Just don't ever associate yourself with the Vinsmoke ever again in the future. And the thing that really killed me about this scene was Revujo being present and crying as well. That was so close, I wanted to put that on the list. We also have Pedro's final words to Carrot before he died. The gangster meeting itself with Capone and Gastino and Luffy, just the entire ambiance of that scene I loved. And of course, it was shocking when Oda revealed Katakuri's face, and the fact that everything that we thought about Katakuri was basically a lie. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. If you're in the comments now, take a guess as to what my top 2 are. And so we'll start off with number 2, which is the reveal of Gear 4th Snake Man. Bro, Gear 4th Snake Man is so hype. Like, if we're comparing Snake Man to Sulong didn't make this list, Snake Man is number 2. My god, I love Snake Man. I love Sulong, but Snake Man is just on another level entirely. And I'm also sort of combining this with the fight that took place right after, which I think was also incredibly choreographed, similar to the fight with the Enraged Army. But when in combination with the Snake Man hype, dude, I'm done. I legitimately believe that Gear 4 Snake Man versus Katakuri was the best fight in the entirety of One Piece. Now, I don't mean the best fight in terms of setup, in terms of overall execution in context with the rest of this arc. I mean, pure combat by itself, I believe that it is the best. So obviously, it would be high on my list. But yeah, guys, that leaves us with just one moment left, and I'm certain that you guys can guess what it's going to be. Katakuri was probably the best thing of Whole Cake Island. Maybe not towards the middle. There's a lot of these middle moments which weren't really even close to my top 10. But the finale, the final moments of Luffy versus Katakuri are just some of the greatest moments in One Piece, in my opinion. And so number 1 on my list is when Katakuri stabs himself. Bro, the feeling that I got from that scene at the time is so memorable. I don't know if I can describe the feeling with words, but I can still feel it. It was that powerful. You kind of get the sense that something is about to occur. He stabs Luffy, he yells at him, I thought that you were better than this, and then he notices out of the corner of his eye, you see Flompy and the others laughing, and then Katakuri starts walking in their direction, and you feel it coming. And he finally arrives in front of them, and bro, he fucking stabs himself. You think this is funny? You think he's disgusting? What do you think about me now? Don't you dare give unwanted support in a duel between men. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is in my top 5 moments after the time skip. And maybe top 10 moments all time in One Piece. That's just how shook I was. But yeah, guys, that's my list of top 10 scenes or moments throughout Whole Cake Island. As I said at the beginning of this video, this list is entirely subjective, and if you disagree with any of my choices, go ahead and comment down how you would change up the list, what your list would be like. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content, and as always guys, have a wonderful day.